we bring her before you, Heavenly Father. We pray for her that you may help her in building the school. You may help her in uplifting the standard of education in the Fort Beaufort area. Father, we pray for the parents. Heavenly Father, we thank them for allowing their kids, for trusting us with their kids. Lord, we pray for this. It's not, I don't even want to call it, oh God, a condition. I want to call it a gift, Heavenly Father. I pray for the kids who have this gift that is called autism, oh God. May you help us, oh God. May you please, oh God, help us in the inclusivity. Not only in the papers. The inclusivity should start in our hearts, should start in our minds, should start in our tongues, oh God. Father, I pray for the teachers, oh God. Help them as they are dealing with a very sensitive part of the child, which is the mind of the child. Lord, give us, oh God, a wisdom to deal with the kids. Father, we know this profession. It's a noble profession. If you read the Bible, your son Jesus Christ was called more than 60 times in the Gospels, was referred to as a teacher. Oh God, the reason for that, Lord Jesus, is because of the nobleness of this profession. Help us, oh God. Help us, Father. We pray that we may give the support that is needed to the teacher so that they can carry, because the future of this country is in their hands. We thank you, Father, for them. Help them, bless them. We thank you for our kids. They are the future of this country. They are the leaders of tomorrow. We thank you, Jesus. Bless the day in the mighty name of the one we love, the one we bless, our God who art in heaven. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Sir Chiki, for that very powerful prayer. We are appreciative of that. Right, moving along swiftly, we are going to be having our welcoming remarks by Mr. Pius Bracco. Can we please welcome Mr. Pius?
Thank you, Ms. Lara. Thank you very much. Thank you, Saint Chiki, for the prayer. And good morning, everyone. Just a couple of days ago, we all gathered here and listened to a very insightful presentation about autism, otherwise known as autism spectrum disorder. If it was insightful, then why are we here again? We are here again because unfortunately our guest speaker couldn't join us on that day. So thankfully she's here today. Ma'am, I believe you have a smooth ride this time around. Thank God. So thankfully she's here again. She's here with us today to share with us what we couldn't hear or what we couldn't listen to on Tuesday. Baby, you are special welcome to Kids Autism Awareness Workshop 2025. To our parents, some of you were here with us. You are again welcome. Those who were not here, who couldn't be with us that day, you are welcome. To our teachers, yeah, most of you sitting here were not with us that day. It was very, very insightful. Me personally, I wish I knew what I learned that day earlier. I could have handled other things better. So, ladies and gentlemen, men, especially you are welcome. We're glad to have you here, our parents, our teachers. Once again, you are all welcome to Kids Autism Awareness Workshop 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bracker. I hope you feel welcome. All right, and now we are going to have a speaker that's going to introduce our guest speaker. So please put your hands together for Mrs. P. Borto.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mrs. Borto, as she said, and I'm here to give you a short biography of Miss Antoinette Bruce Alexandra. Antoinette Bruce Alexandra is a dedicated Regional Development Officer for Autism SA in the Eastern Cape. As a passionate advocate for autism awareness and support, Antoinette brings valuable experience and expertise to her role. Personally, Antoinette is a devoted mother to her almost 25-year-old son with autism, which has deepened her understanding of the complexities and the joys of having an autistic child. Professionally, Antoinette has managed Sinatema School for Autism in East London, Eastern Cape, showcasing her leadership skills and commitment to providing quality education and care for individuals with autism. Through her work with Autism SA and her experience as a parent and educator, Antoinette gives or continues to make a positive impact in the lives of individuals with autism and their families in and around Eastern Cape. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Hey, I feel so welcome. I don't want this thing, okay? So I'm quite loud without it. Can you hear me? Yes. Excellent. Can I see this one? Yeah, just the one. Okay, it's dead. I know. Hi. Hello. I'm coming over here for introductions, okay? Can I? He's going to follow me around with this camera. First of all, a huge apology that I didn't make it on Tuesday. It was the first time in my life that I had a tire explode on me in my car. And that I went home on the back of a rollback truck, sitting in the cab between two huge men in the truck on my way back to East London again. It was an experience and I'm very sorry I couldn't be here. This morning at 6 o'clock I woke up and on my cell phone on all the groups it was just riots in Berlin. The whole of King Williamstown is blocked off with riots and I thought, oh, I sent Mama Rose a message. I said, don't tell me for day 2 I'm also not going to be here. But then by 8:30 they said the roads were clear, so I came through, so that was fine. Thank goodness I can be here today. So yes, I'm blessed to be here with you. Thank you. Thank you for making your time available for me. It's quite a long workshop, so I hope you've got all your energies and your thinking brains, everything is there. I hope you are fine for a 2-hour session. Is that fine?
Yes.
Right, you are. I don't know what was said by Department of Education and Social Development when they were here on Tuesday. So maybe I'm going to give you information that they have already given you. But if not, my information is up to date and factual. Because as Autism South Africa, we believe very strongly that we do not want to give people information that is not true. And also, we listen a lot to the autistic adult community. And we listen to what they have to say to us as well. So we listen and we say, let's follow their lead and their instructions to us. And that we do not give information to people that is insensitive to the autistic community themselves. Okay. I very well presented. I am Antoinette, I've got a very long surname, so don't worry about that one. And don't call me auntie, please. I am the mother of a hugely talented young man. He is an artist. He is a fine art sculptor, so he makes little things in very big detail that looks as if you bought it in a shop. He is now not this week, when did we say Saturday? The 17th of May. He's going to be 26 years old already. So Daniel, my son, is my second born. I've got two children. My firstborn is Kaylee, and she's 2 years older than Daniel. Kaylee is a ballet teacher. She's qualified. She does ballet teaching for little ones up to advanced 1 level, which is the senior level of ballet. And she has a huge studio with, I think, 110 children in now at the moment. And she teaches 3 different schools as well in East London. So her development and studies and her life is what you would call normal. And she is a well-adjusted, well-educated lady at 28, where Daniel is autistic. I'm telling you this because part of the presentation is going to be to do with myths and truths of autism. Okay, so I'm just giving you that example. In 2008, I opened the school Autism Sinitemba in East London, and we have grown from 6 children to 40. And all between the ages of 2 years, and the last one now is 9 turning 10. So we are registered with Department of Social Development Department, and we are a partial care facility and a special needs ECD. So we've got both certifications there, and we've gone since 2008. We've been going, and actually we started in May this month in 2008. We started the school. I've been managing it since then. It's my passion, it's my joy. And in 2011, I started working for Autism South Africa as well, because they needed a representative in the Eastern Cape that can go and do workshops with people. So that is why I'm here today, to come and give you more information about autism spectrum disorders. And it is a spectrum, and I like the balloons up here. It's all multicolored, like a spectrum, you know? It's all the colors of the rainbow is represented. So well done. I like it. I don't know who was responsible for this, but it looks beautiful. That's beautiful. Oopsie. No. Wrong button, alternate. I don't know if you can see there. Can you? So today we're going to look a little bit about the history of autism, what autism is, the causes of autism, all of the stuff that you want to know. And it is a brief description. Okay, it's just an introduction. All right, so it's not in-depth look at everything. It's an introduction, but it'll give you a little bit more of detail than what you probably had before. You are all parents, am I correct? Can I just get an idea how old are your children? 7. Are you also a parent?
Yes.
A parent, okay. Age of the child?
7.
7 as well, okay. Behind? Is she also a parent?
Yes.
And how old?
She says it's in grade 6.
5, 6, okay, yes. 9, okay. The back? 5. No, I love them at that age.
I'm not
Okay, all right. Next to you? 5-year-old as well. They're so cute with 5 hands. Right?
7-year-old.
7-year-old. 11. Okay. And the ability age of yours? Okay. What is he able to do at the moment? How old is the functioning level, the developmental level?
You know, he can it, but not properly.
Okay. Okay. So So maybe he's 2 years or so behind me. Yes. No. I've only got paper copies for you. I'm not allowed to share it. I can give you paper-based copies, but I'm not allowed to share this. Maybe I can ask just to hand out. Okay. No, again, wrong button. So if you look here, you'll see the history of autism. Autism is not something that's very new. Autism is something that's been there for a long, long time. Before 1910 already, there were mention made of children and adults with certain behaviors and certain communication difficulties. Sometimes those children were given medicine and then locked up in an institution. They locked them away in hospitals and facilities. They were not out there for the public to see. The parents locked them away. So those children were diagnosed in the olden days as with childhood schizophrenia. That's what the diagnosis used to be. And then they locked them up. But since 1910, we saw that there was this word that started coming up called autism. And then from 1940s, 1943 and 1944, the two doctors, pediatricians that worked with children with disabilities, they started finding the specific things that we are looking at today with autism spectrum disorders. Dr. Leo Kander had children in his practice that he said they found communication very difficult. They hardly any of them could communicate. They had very, very bad repetitive behaviors. And they also had very bad social interaction problems with other people. So they couldn't talk or communicate with other people. To be in a group like this would have been very difficult for them. Dr. Hans Asperger, on the other hand, said that the children in his practice he saw had average or normal to above average, like hypolexic children, they could read and speak to a greater ability. He saw kids in his practice that had average or normal to above average intelligence and communication abilities. So those were the distinctions between the two groups. The first child in 1943 that Dr. Leo Kander diagnosed, his name was Donald. Donald died, not last year, but in 2023, he died. He was a month away from his 90th birthday. So why I'm telling you this is, autism doesn't have a shortened life expectancy. Our people with autism live very long lives, and like anybody else. But because they have autism, we need to look after them for a very long time. So we say autism is lifelong, and it's a very long life. So for instance, myself, I will be 57 this year. Daniel is 26 this year. I'm going to die a long time before Daniel does. So my job as a mom is to make provision for him when he's older. And when I'm not there anymore to look after him. Does it make sense? Yes. Okay. So in 1972, the lady Jane Eyre said, there's something to do with the children's sensory problems that also need to be noted. But it took the people until 2013 to be able to put the 3 different areas of autism plus adding in sensory as part of the proper diagnosis of those children. So now we have 4 areas that we look at when we do diagnosing of children. Number 1 is their speech and language and their communication skills. Number 2 is how do they interact with other people socially? Can they interact or not? Number 3 is the repetitive type of behavior We used to say behaviors, and then people say, yeah, they're all naughty and they have tantrums. I'm saying, no, it's not that. We're looking at things that they do over and over, the way that they play with their toys over and over, the things that almost interfere with their learning and growing and interaction with other people. Those are the behaviors we're looking at. The fourth one is sensory component. Okay, how many senses do we have?
5. 8. What? A shark has 8 senses. A shark has 8 senses.
We have 8 senses that I'm going to teach you about today. We actually, biologically, we have up to 45 different senses. But today I'm going to teach you about 8 of those. Okay. The 5 that we know and love is sight, smell, taste, hearing, touch. The other 3, vestibular, which is your sense of balance. The big word proprioception or body awareness. And then the last one is your internal senses. Interoception. Internal. Okay, so I'm going to teach you about that. Okay. How many senses?
8.
Did I teach you something new already?
Yes.
Okay, so statistics says it doesn't matter where the person lives, what color they are, what race they come from or population they come from. It doesn't matter which church they attend. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. Autism is everywhere. The first black mommy I met, Bonnie, said to me, Antoinette, it cannot be. My child cannot have this thing. So I said, what thing is this? This autism thing. So I said, why can't it be? She said, because it's a white disease. And I said to her, Bonnie, unfortunately not. It is everywhere. And that is the truth. I have a school with autistic kids, 40 of them there. In my school, 85% of those children are either foreign nationals or black. The other races are represented in ones or twos of the children. But the community that we live in is exactly what is represented in the children at my school with autism. And it doesn't matter how much money the parents have in the bank, they are there. Okay. Social development, when they were here yesterday, that they go through the process of applying for a grant for your child. Do you know about the grants that you can get? Do you have grants for your children? Do you have the care dependent grants or the children's grants? Okay, if your child has a diagnosis of autism, then you can go back to SASSA and go and apply for a care dependent grant, which is 2,300 a month. Not the little 300 or whatever it is now. Okay. If you are a working parent and you have to submit your tax for SARS, you get concessions and deductions from your SARS as well. So having a child diagnosed with autism has benefits as well. Okay, not just, oh damn it, my child is autistic. There are certain benefits that we can have as well. Alright. Now this is where we go with the glasses on and off if I have to look at that. Okay, so research has shown, and this is where we come now with the new diagnosis of 2013, and it was re-updated again in 2023. Now, instead of having one girl for every 4 boys, we have 1 girl for every 2 to 3 boys. Because we have now more girls that are diagnosed with autism as well. In this group of parents, how many boys, how many girls? Boy. Are they all boys? Who's got a girl? Have you got a girl? And a girl? 2 girls. Okay. So out of a population of autistic people, I'm going to say people because I'm counting children and adults, we now have a good split of 1 girl to 2 to 3 boys. And it used to be 1 girl to 4 boys. used to have blue as the color representing autism, because blue used to stand for so many more boys than girls that were diagnosed. But these days, the autistic community says, no, wait. We are many more girls than we are also versus the boys. So they're counting the girls in, and now we say it is a spectrum disorder. And not just the colors, but also getting away from blue as a color and incorporating the rainbow colors rather. And because it is autism spectrum disorder, we are more focusing on the different colors. Okay, so 2 to 3, yes. About 44% of those people diagnosed have a normal IQ or intelligence level. They could even be above normal intelligence level. But it is very, very difficult to diagnose a child and to do an IQ test. Do you know how an IQ test has been done or is done? Okay. So, I as a person go to a practitioner or a clinician that administers the test. So you go to someone else's office. That person gives you a document and a pen. And you have to fill that document in and answer the questions of the document. They then take that document and they calculate the correct answers, and according to that they work out what your intelligence level is. Okay. Donald T., Leo Canner's first case of autism, was 10 when he was diagnosed. Part of his diagnosis was an IQ test, because that's what they did there. Donald T. is a very, very intelligent man. He thinks in shapes. Okay, keep that in mind. On his IQ test, there was a question. If I give you 10 cents and I say go to the shop and buy something for 4 cents, how much change are you bringing home? The answer should be 6 cents. Donald's answer on his IQ test was hexagon.
Shapes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Donald's answer being an hexagon, I understand it's 6. But the IQ test required him to write 6
Yes.
cents. Which means Donald's answer was incorrect. And therefore he scored very low on his IQ testing. Which means in the IQ world, Donald had a low IQ. But in actual fact not. He answered his questions correctly, but using shapes as his inference and his answers. And therefore, I feel that an IQ test is not an accurate thing for our children. If I ask the parents, if I take your child to a different doctor today, and he's never seen that doctor before, he's never seen that room before, and you take him there, your child is going to be anxious, nervous, frustrated, angry even, out of routine, and definitely unfamiliar with the surroundings that he's in. Now you tell him, here's a piece of paper and complete this test. How do you think they're going to feel? Most of them will be out the door and running. They will not sit here and concentrate and do what they were supposed to do. Therefore, for me, an IQ test for an autistic child is a very difficult thing to do. And to me, an IQ test for an autistic child is inconclusive. Because IQ is not just measured by a standard test that they can do. And to me, that makes a big difference if you understand that part. Okay, maybe he's not used to white paper. Maybe he's not used to your pencil that you've just given him. Maybe he is rather interested in eating the pencil than writing with it. Maybe he doesn't like the smell of it. He's used to maybe using twisty crayons at school and not a pencil. So all of those things are going to interfere with him and his test writing. Okay. The last one here is approximately 2/3 of autistic people are also diagnosed with a condition called apraxia. And apraxia is your motor movements in your body. That has to do with talking, fine motor, gross motor skills. All of movement to do with the body is an apraxia problem. And about 2/3 of our people have problems with that. Now, with the combination of praxia, you have the dyspraxia, which means the mouth muscles are not working properly and the children battle to speak. So part of the non-speaking community of our children and adults could have to do with the motor movements of the mouth itself that is not working because of this condition of dyspraxia. The causes of autism. What do you think caused your child's autism? What do you think? I can tell you now. Research worldwide says no one knows. We simply don't have any idea yet what caused this thing called autism. What we do know is it could have a genetic component to it. But let me explain genetics. I am anti-net. My genetics are made up of mommy and her family, and daddy and his family. But in the middle, I am a unique person. Because yes, I have genetics from mom and from dad, but my DNA is different to theirs. I have a unique anti-net component to my genetics, which makes me short, straight hair, green-blue eyes, thin lips, fattish. That comes from my mommy's side. Okay, she's also a little bit fattish. But you can also say it's my husband's cooking. Okay, he's the chef in the house. So I have a unique body shape. I am able to do things that other people are not able to do. That is part of my genetics. My husband has his own genetics. Combined with mine, we made 2 children, my daughter and my son. My son is taller than my daughter. My daughter is actually shorter than me. She's still a tiny little thing, but so tiny and thin. I hate that little body. She stole all my good looks. Okay, but Daniel, uniquely Daniel, his genetic component made that he is autistic. Do you understand what I'm going to? Okay, so I am Daniel's mother. I don't have autism. Daniel's dad does not have autism. His sister doesn't have autism. Uniquely, Daniel is autistic. Genetically, Daniel is autistic. So each and every person sitting here can be sure that you are genetically different to the person sitting next to you. We don't just have different birth dates and different names. Our fingerprints are different, which makes us very much unique. Did you know that our ear shapes are different to each other as well? That not one person's ear shape is the same as a different one. So we are completely unique individuals. Okay? Vaccinations did not cause autism. Diet does not cause autism. Bad parenting does not cause autism. Nothing that we know of so far has the autistic thing that we can pinpoint and say this is what caused it. Okay. So what is autism? Autism is now an umbrella term for a lot of small conditions that they've all put together. Under there is things called autism or childhood autism. We have Rett syndrome, we have Fragile X. They have even included things under there like ADHD. Although it's not a true part of autism, it's part of it. There are a lot of conditions that they put together under that. I've got a condition called Prader-Willi syndrome included in there as well. Childhood disintegrative disorders are in there as well. Oppositional defiance disorder is incorporated as well. So there's quite a lot of conditions that make up autism spectrum disorders. That is why in the 2013 revision of the diagnostic material, they have now included a lot of those things. Dr. Leo Cannon used to describe children with classic autistic symptoms or signs. Dr. Hans Asperger, he described the people with above average capabilities. Asperger as a syndrome, it used to be called a different thing, Asperger syndrome or Asperger's. That is now part of autism spectrum disorders as well. We don't have a separate condition called Asperger's anymore. It's now part of autism. Okay. The things that we are looking for here is, number one, the communication. How do children communicate or adults communicate with autism? Can they speak? Don't they speak? What methods are they using? I was listening to who was saying about the child that cannot speak. They use other methods. They will definitely use other methods. Okay. There is the social integration or interaction with other people. There is the repetitive behaviors that we see, and also under that is the stimmies, you know. You know, if you all have kids with stimmies that they rock and they flap, they turn themselves around and around, they do all kinds of things. They finger flick, they tap their ears, they can scratch themselves. There's a whole lot of stuff that they can do as stimulation or self-stimulation behaviors. But the repetitiveness of their behaviors include things like lining up their toys, stacking their toys in a very specific manner. And you are not allowed to disturb any of those things. You have to leave them exactly the way that they are. It's very difficult for the child to have any kind of order that they have created disturbed again. They also thrive on things like routine, structure, that sort of thing. And visuals, a lot of visuals is needed for the behaviors to calm down and be a bit more flexible. Okay, the second or third thing, is sensory. And we're going to do, how many senses do we have? Wait, we're asking him at the corner there at the back. How many senses? 5. I'm going to educate you.
Wasn't here.
I know. We have 8.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then with sensory comes motor movements. Because, let me just take these glasses off because they're annoying. My brain, and let's take a side view of the brain this way. Okay, my brain is like a bologna. Okay, in the middle of the brain, in the middle of the head, if I take a bologna slicer and I slice 2 slices next to each other in the middle here, going right to left, the one is sensory processing, the one just next to it is motor movement. We cannot have sensory without motor, and we can't have motor without sensory. They work together as one unit. So therefore, we are also now including sensory and motor combined one thing. Okay, so it's listed here as 5, but we have 4 areas that a child must have 1 or 2 areas before we can say this child is autistic. I have had many people that say to me, I think we're all a little bit autistic. No. I can tell you now, living with a person with autism, you will change your perspective very quickly. You cannot say, I'm a little bit autistic myself because I don't like to touch powdered milk in a packet because it grills me terribly. I'm not autistic because of that. Do you know what it's like to live with autism? Then you won't say that. So don't come and tell me one day, I think we're all just a little bit autistic. Okay? Mothers who have had children will know what I'm talking about if I say, you can't say I'm a little pregnant. You are pregnant or you're not. The same with autism. You either have it or you don't. Done. I've had a lady now who is in her 30s already that has just been diagnosed with autism. Do you know what a long process it is? Her psychiatrist psychiatrist has had many sessions with her. This psychiatrist sent her to a specific center in Cape Town to have a diagnosis done. It's taken months to have this done. It is really, really a difficult process to have this diagnosis done. Which is also why in the state hospitals, they don't want to diagnose a child early because they say, maybe the child is just a bit delayed. But now, how many years has your child been waiting to get into Quest? 9 years. Okay, here's the scenario. A child must be diagnosed between the ages of 2 or 3 so that the child can qualify for the services that they need and the intervention that they need. If the child is diagnosed over the age of 4, it means now you apply to special needs schools for that child and they wait between 5 and 8 years to get into the school. A normal child goes to school at grade R and exits in matric. Nee? That's 13 years of academic input. Our children will get, if they are lucky, 5 years of input. Then they are in their teens already when they go to school for the first time, and they get shoved in a classroom and forgotten because they get given things like, I think this class we're just going to do beadwork, nee? And we're just going to do maybe a bit of sewing. But I think this class can do gardening. They forget that these children are capable of academic work. And they get lost. Now they want to go to skills schools. And the first thing that is asked is, give me your highest certificate at school. And they get an exit certificate from a special needs school. What is that? They have not had what our law says they must have, the proper input of an education. And that is the truth that we are dealing with, not just in the Eastern Cape, but all this, the whole of South Africa. We have a problem with it. We begin to see the signs of autism as early as 18 months, but definitely from 2 years of age. And why do we say signs of autism? We say signs of autism because it's not symptoms. A symptom is for a medical condition. A symptom of having the flu. You have a runny nose, you have blocked and congestion here, your body is achy and feeling gaga, you have sneezing, you have coughing, you have headaches, you want to go to sleep. You feel dreadful. You go to the doctor, you have medicine, within a couple of days you start feeling better again. Those are symptoms of having flu. Nee? Autism doesn't have symptoms because it's not curable. There isn't medication for autism. So ours is called a disorder or a condition. Okay, like epilepsy is a condition. Okay, so that is what we are talking about. Between the ages of 2 and 3, we'll see the signs of autism are there already. You'll start seeing either a delay or absence of speech and language being used. You'll see the repetitiveness of their behavior coming out. You'll see some of the children being very shy and distancing themselves from other people. You'll see some of the sensory issues happening as well. Certain foods that they don't want to eat anymore. Certain clothing that they don't want to wear anymore. My son is a good example. Yesterday, on a Wednesday, he has art. I take him to his art classes on a Wednesday. He comes to me and he stands in front of me and he shows me his body like this. And I ask him, what is it? Then he says, what clothes must I wear today? Okay? He does not know if the weather is hot or cold. His body doesn't tell him. His sensory issues says, I don't know what is going on. That is sense number 9. Okay? It's called thermoception. Okay? That says, I don't know if it's hot or cold. My body does not know if it's hot or cold. So that's one of the senses that we are working with. Okay. Nociception is the sense of pain. If they bump themselves, their sensory system doesn't tell them that there's pain. So there's 10 already. See, we add in. All right. We can also have co-occurring conditions, which means autism is here. It's the condition that we can do nothing about. Me? But then we can have a condition called ADHD. That hyperactive child or the child that cannot focus and concentrate, they can give medicine for that. A child can have epilepsy. That child can have epilim or whatever the medication is that the child is given. So we have autism and something else. Okay. So my son has autism and he has a phobia of germs. He is on medication for a phobia for germs. So his anxiety levels are really high all the time because he thinks there's germs and everything is dirty around him. So we have a problem with that and his germ phobia. Okay. And he has a sleep pattern disorder. Who wants my child? Daniel's day and night is completely reversed. He goes to sleep at 6 o'clock in the morning. He wakes up at 4 in the afternoon. So his whole day and night is swapped around completely now. It's happened over many years, so his whole day and night switched over, but he is now completely, his day and night is completely reversed now. So we call him Batman. Because he's awake at night when we're sleeping. It is also not a linear condition or a diagnosis. So what that means is, I don't know if you mommies and daddies have gone to the doctor and they gave you a diagnosis letter, and in that letter it says, my child is 36 out of 60. Who's got a letter like that? Anybody? Okay, so what this means is, when you go to the doctor and they do the tests with the child, they do the screening tests and the paperwork and they check lists and all of that stuff. With the checklists and observations, the doctor adds up the scores of the child, and they give you a number, and the number is out of 60. So if the child has a number 32 out of 60, it means they're quite mild autistic. If they have 36 to 42 out of 60, it means that they are middle or moderately autistic. Anything above that is severely autistic. Okay, so there are the 3 levels of autism: level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is mild. Level 2 is middle or moderate. Number 3 is the severe side of it. Now the doctor says your child is moderately autistic. He's got that score, But look at the motor skills of the child now. He cannot hold a pencil yet and cannot draw or scribble. Which means on that point only, the child is going to need a lot more support. Which means he's more on the severe side of autism. With gross motor skills, he can climb any of these structures outside. If the teachers say, jump, he can jump. If they say run, he can run. He can kick the ball, he can do everything. He does not need that much support. So he's more on the mild side of autism with that one point. Maybe with his speech, he cannot yet speak. So he is on the more severe side of autism. He needs more support there. But if he's mild, then he can speak already. Maybe some days more words than other days. But he's not on the same place on the autism spectrum for all of his developmental areas. Some are more support needed, some are less support needed. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so we can't just say a child is that linear, like a ruler, You can't just say he's that point on the ruler and that's what it is. Because myself, if I wake up in the morning and I've got a cold, I don't feel well, myself, I need more support for the day. Which means I'm going to be, if I'm autistic, more on that side of the scale of autism. If I wake up and I'm happy and I'm fresh and I had a good night's sleep and I'm healthy, I'm going to be more on that side. So even us, which we would call normal people, also have days where you are better than And the same with our autistic people as well. They sometimes have days when they are not feeling well, and some days they are feeling better, and then their autism is going to slide on that scale. It's not going to be severe today, it's just moderate. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great. Some people are diagnosed a lot later on in life. I have people 50 who are still being diagnosed now. So it's not just something that happens like now. I'm going to leave you to look at this story, but what I've just told you about the ruler effect and the sliding scale is what Maya is telling us as well. She says she is diagnosed with a not so severe form of autism. To everybody that looks at her, she can function normally. But some days she can't handle the noise or the amount of people around her or the demands that are made of her, because some days she just cannot handle it all. Then people say, but you look so normal, so you must act normal as well. But Maya, why can't you? And they don't understand that even if it is autism, but mild autism, they still need support every single day. And in this wagon wheel that she is giving us here, that wagon wheel, you'll see that she can also, some days she's better and don't need a lot of support. Some days when she's not feeling well, she needs a lot more support. And people can't expect her to function the same every single day. And it doesn't matter how severe your autism is, every single person on the autism spectrum needs support every day. This just matters how much they need for that day. The signs of autism that we're looking at is social interaction. I'm going to get a little bit gross from now on, okay? I hope you're on board with my grossness. As teachers, tell me, what can you handle more? Snot. Poo. Blood. Wee-wee. Vomit. Huh? And with autistic people, we get that. All of it. All the time. Yes. So if I'm saying I'm not going to gross you up because I want to, it's because I have to. I must tell you how things look in the autism world. Okay. Number one, society made social rules, not autistic people. They don't understand the rules that we have made for ourselves as a society. Who said that you have to talk softly when you are in a church? Who said that you have to stand in a queue to wait your turn at the till for either the shopping or to go to the teller at the bank? Who said you cannot burp or fart loudly in public? Who said that? Not the autistic person. We did. We said you can't go to the dominee or the minister at the church and take the microphone away and start talking yourself. Nee? Then everybody goes, Mummy, you must control this child. This child is naughty. Nee? Who said you cannot just shout out an answer in the classroom, but you must say, teacher, pick me. That is society's rules, not the autistic person's rules. They follow their own rules. And they don't always understand why we made the rules that we did. Who said you can't just go to the bank teller in the front without having to stand behind 5 people first to wait your turn? It's not them, okay? It's their autism that did that. It's not them themselves, okay? So, some autistic people and children find it very, very difficult to make eye contact with you. And they will do everything in their power to look everywhere else except in your eyes. Okay, who has got that experience? With our children? Yes. Okay, so I say, if the eye contact isn't there, Then you buy yourself some stickers from the stationery shop and you stick a sticker on top of your head. Okay? And then you say, you don't have to look at my eyes, look at my sticker. You can put it on your nose, you can put it on your chin, you can put it on your forehead, as long as the child has a point on your face to look at, but not your eyes. Okay, there was a guy, he died unfortunately last year, Steven Silberman. Steven Silberman said that looking at someone's eyes, he's autistic, it feels like I've got broken glass in my stomach. Okay. The way I was feeling driving from East London to here this morning, I had that anxiety in my stomach. That is what autistic people feel like looking at someone's eyes. They don't like it, they can't handle it. So we must say, we make allowances for that. And we say, you don't have to look at my eyes, but here's a point that you can reference on. Okay, does it make sense?
Yes.
Right. Second thing is they can be really very direct. And so must you with them. So if I say be direct, I'm going to say a child with autism does not know how sarcasm works. They don't know how jokes work. They don't know how this gray area of communication works. If you are not very direct with a child with autism, you are not communicating with him properly. So, if I look at a direct instruction to a child, the child says, "Teacher, I want to go to the toilet." Then you say to the child, you can go to the toilet and wash your hands. Now what is the child hearing from you as a direct instruction? Go to the toilet and wash your hands. Where is that child going to be?
Wash the hands.
Where?
In the toilet.
In the toilet, yes. That's exactly what you told them to do.
Okay.
That's your words. That's what you said. So now you've got to break it down. Go to the toilet and wee-wee. When you finish, you go to the basin and wash your hands. So you are direct and you're giving them the language that they need. Be prepared for that child to be very direct with you as well, in a very nasty way sometimes. Here the child can tell you that you stink, that you're fat, that you're ugly, I don't like your clothes. They can be really almost hurtful and direct. Don't take it as being hurtful, please. They are telling you what they see. Okay, so I say to my child, "Daniel, I'm so fat." Then he says, "No, mommy, you're not fat, you're just medium." And I go with that, okay? I am not fat, I am just medium. Okay? So I like myself, I'm very medium. Because Daniel said so. And he won't lie to me because he's very direct.
Yeah.
He will tell me one day when I get fat, he will say so, I promise you. So don't be upset if the child comes to you and say, "I don't like your hair." Because it's what they see. I don't like you because you smell. And that could only mean you had a birthday yesterday, your husband or boyfriend bought you new perfume, and today you're wearing new perfume. The child only knows you with yesterday's smell. Today you smell different. The child doesn't like the perfume. He's going to tell you stink. Does it make sense? Okay. Next, body language that they use. They don't always use body language, and they don't always use the body language that fits what they are talking about. Okay, so in my case as well, they don't understand our body language that we give them. So if I'm standing open, I like you all, I'm having a good time, I'm feeling happy. But the moment you close, or you close, or you close, it means I'm shutting myself off from you. Nee? The child does not understand that subtle body language communication that we give off every single day. We don't understand their facial expressions, because sometimes their facial expressions doesn't match what they are saying. And they don't have any idea what our faces are doing. How do we teach emotions to young children? We use the little emojis, right? Happy face, sad face, surprise face, all of those ones. But do you know that those things don't look like my face? Right? I can go frowny face, smiley face, really, and then I can go through many emotions on my face. But the poor child is still trying to impose that. No, it doesn't look like you. No, it doesn't look like you. No, it doesn't look like you. Because the emojis doesn't match our mobile faces. Neat? So sometimes body language and facial expressions are not used the way we would expect them to be, and they don't understand our body language and facial expressions at all. Sometimes the child has a very blank facial expression all the time. They don't have happy, sad, angry faces. They just have a blank face. And then the moms or the dads get very concerned because the child's face isn't talking. They don't know if the child is happy or sad. There's a little boy that I used to, well, he's not little anymore, he's now in grade 8 already, in a school in East London, and he has this permanent angry face. That's a permanent thing for him. You would ask him, how are you doing today? I'm having a difficult day. But he's actually very happy. There's nothing wrong. But he's having that face. The second time I met the boy at the school, I asked him again, how are you doing today? He said, I'm having a difficult day. It seems to be a normal thing. But that day, I realized that he was really having a difficult day because it was his birthday. And he's one of those children who don't like people making a fuss about his birthday. And obviously they had the whole happy birthday song in the class, balloons and whatever that they do at the school, and he really was upset because he didn't want people making a fuss about him. So he was having a difficult day. The first time I met him, his difficult day was actually a nothing. It was quite a good day, but his face was not the same. Okay. Next, differences in tone and pitch of the voice can also change. I sometimes, and I must tell you, my husband is my everything. I met him when we were 20, and we are married now for 27 years. Wow. I have loved that man to death for many, many years now. And I tell you, I say my husband is my everything. It's true. Right? So, sometimes I hear my husband talking in the house, and then I get all excited, and I'm like, oh, my husband is home. I'm going to go and get all my mummies from my husband, and the huggies and the loves, because I love him very much. Okay? And we're a very close couple. And then when I get there, it's Daniel. Because Daniel speaks with the voice of his father. And then I get there and I'm like, damn it, it's Daniel. But okay, I'm happy to see you anyway. But I can hear my husband speaking in the house, and it's not my husband, it's Daniel. Sometimes he speaks with the voice of his favorite cartoon character as well. And you can go in there and you think that the TV is on. It's not the TV, it's Daniel. He speaks with a different voice. Perfect as it should be. So sometimes they choose a different pitch. They will either go higher, and they will speak with a very squeaky voice, or they'll go low and then they'll mumble. And that's the way that they would talk. So sometimes they don't talk with their own natural speaking voice as well. And some autistic people can have very deep empathy with other people. Now, I said to you earlier that our kids, people have this misconception about them that they don't feel anything for other people. That empathy or kindness isn't there for other people. But let me tell you that it's wrong. They have a very deep empathy with other people. Sometimes, because it takes them a very long time to process what is going on in their minds and their feelings, that they cannot express it quick enough. So then it looks to other people as if they are unfeeling and uncaring. But it is really not that. They do feel and care for other people very deeply. My mother-in-law lives with us in the house. They've been living there while my father-in-law passed on a couple of years ago now. But she has Parkinson's disease and she has dementia now as well. So sometimes she forgets what she's doing, sometimes her emotions get too much, sometimes she has anger outbursts, but the mobility is also not there. She walks with a walker. It's very challenging for her now with her Parkinson's. And some days she really says it is so challenging for her that she wishes, and it's Mom's words, not mine, that she has an off switch. She is ready to go now because she said this life is too difficult for her now. So now Daniel goes to her and he puts his shoulder on her shoulder and he tips his head on her head like this. And then he goes, and you can hear the empathy with Daniel for his grandmother and her troubles. So really, empathy is not one of their problems. It's the speed of their processing that and not being able to respond in time for people to then say, oh, I can see he's empathizing with me. If I say to you, I just won the lotto. Last week, Saturday, because lotto is on a Saturday evening. You see how hard I'm trying, okay, people? I'm poor. Lotto was 25 million rands payout. Did you know that? Who checks Lotto around here? Number two, you pay the staff too much. They all take Lotto tickets. But if I had to come here and say to you, on Saturday I won Lotto, and I got 25 million rands. Where's the empathy level now? Some people are going to say, I didn't even take a ticket. And who's she to get that now? Some people are going to be happy for me. Some people are going to say, Yana Antoinette, you worked so long and you spent so much money at Lotto, it's about time that they pay you now. But you're going to have empathy in different degrees from people. Envy and empathy. What if I say that my mum-in-law has now finally passed on? Please, not yet, okay? I still need her, alright? Don't listen to me yet. But what if I say that my mum-in-law has passed on? Then people will empathize with me and say, I'm so sorry for your loss. Condolences to you and your family. Do you need anything from me? So we would have that level of empathy as normal people with each other. It's very difficult for our autistic people to express that level of empathy quickly. So it's not that they can't do it, it's just that they find it challenging and difficult. Next one, communication. Some autistic people can't use speech to communicate. 40% of autistic population never speak. They never use any form of words to be able to communicate with other people in speaking. Then we teach them a different method of communication. We will teach them with objects, okay? So you are thirsty, go fetch, bring it for me, yeah, okay? Or they will bring you a cup. Or we can teach them thirsty as a sign. I'm thirsty. Okay, I'm hungry. Where is my mommy? No, that's not more.
That's what my child said.
Okay,
He wants food. He says more.
Yeah, more is this way. I have so much. Okay, I'm teaching you now. This is you have, I want more. Okay. Wait, I'm coming there. So people with communication difficulty, we can teach them with words as in typed. We've all got these things now. So if you want to communicate, my Daniel sometimes can't speak fluently, although he can speak. But if you ask him something on WhatsApp, you'll be amazed at the level of communication that comes here. Sure. Every single night we have a nighttime routine. We're in the same house. But as soon as I get to my bedroom and put my pajamas on and get into bed, I type him a message. Night, night, Daniel. Have a good night. Sleep tight. I love you lots and lots. And we have a thing that called lots and lots, like smarty tots. So we have this whole thing at night time. The messages that I get from Daniel is staggeringly coherent, with lots of words. So his communication skills is far better typed than what it is spoken. Okay. We can teach them with pictures. We can teach them with objects. We can teach them with photographs. We can teach them a form of signing, which is why I said we're going to the toilet to have a wee-wee. We can teach them about mommy, daddy, brother, sister, teacher, classroom, playground, playing, eating my food, drinking my water. So we can teach them a lot of the signs that they will be able to function with. If they are non-speaking, then we can teach them a different form of communication. The signs I'm showing you now comes from the communication system Makaton, South Africa, and I'm the only trained tutor in the Eastern Cape for Makaton, South Africa. So if you want me to come and teach you some of the signs, I can speak to you, and maybe we can make an appointment and I can come here and teach you some of the signs. Because some of the children who are non-speaking, they need to be given a different form of communication to help them at home. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Some autistic people might have a few words and some autistic people might be able to speak fluently. Yet, if they can even speak fluently and they get challenged or they're frustrated or the anxiety levels go up, they stop speaking. So therefore, we need to give them a different form of communication that will help them again, even if their anxiety and frustration and anger levels are so high that they just simply shut down and don't speak anymore. But some of them are quite fluent. My son is fluent. He just prefers not to speak. Some of them are selectively mute. I don't know if you've ever in your teaching career come across a selective mute child. Ever. Have you? What it means is, here in the classroom, the child does not speak at all. You can do anything you want to, but this child won't speak. But when they are home, they speak. When they are in the playground with other children, they speak. But here, they refuse. And you can do whatever you want to, they will not open their mouth to speak here. We had a case at one of the schools in East London. I dealt with a teacher. We came up with a plan. We gave the teacher a teddy bear and we gave the child a teddy bear. And when we asked this child questions, the teacher would say her teddy bear must ask the child's teddy bear, what is the answer to 2 plus 2? The child's teddy bear will then speak through the child to the teacher's teddy bear and say, answer is 4. But the child never spoke to the teacher. It's communicated through a third and fourth person. A communication aid that we use in the classroom. So even if the child can speak but selectively mute, we use something else you can use as well. You can, even if you don't have teddy bears, you can use Play-Doh and make something that looks like a person or whatever. You speak through them with the child, and it works. It does work. Okay. The importance to remember here, it is not the mode of communication that the child uses, but that they communicate. That is the proper thing to think about. Okay. They can use any form of communication. They can take you by the hand and drag you where they want to go and point at something for them that they want, or you can give them, this is a time timer, you know, an egg timer, sand timer, okay? This is bubbles. You know the child wants these bubbles, okay? You know that, but you're going to put these things behind your back, and then you're going to bring them forward, and you're going to look at the child's eyes. You are never going to look at the choices. You're going to say, which one do you want? And the child's eyes are going to indicate first what they are looking at and what they want. So immediately they're going to go, bubbles. But they did not look. And you did not look at the choices. Okay, but you know the child wants bubbles. You know it. But you're going to give them choices. Which one do you want? And you look at the child's eyes to see which one they choose. And then you go with that choice. So we give them different forms of communication to work with. Why did I bring you bubbles? I want to ask you, what is the outcome that we are looking for as educators and parents with playing with everyday, normal childhood toys? Okay, if I have to blow bubbles for a child, what is the outcome I'm looking for? Okay, 3-year-old children, what is the outcome we're looking for?
Happy, excited, chasing the bubbles.
Okay, that's happiness and excitement, that's an emotion. Can they express it? Can they tell you, I'm so happy? Okay. So, what do they learn from bubbles? Bubbles are big and small mathematical concepts, ne? Yes? They go up or down. There is an eye-hand coordination with where the bubbles go and how I must blow. There's a praxia exercise, blowing. Can you see the outcomes we're looking at? There's fine motor skills, there's ocular or eye movements involved. Then there's the excitement levels. And go and the biggest bubble that you can find. How does the child distinguish between big and small? Ne? So there's a lot of outcomes to everyday childhood activities that we don't think about. But a child's job in life is to play. And our job as parents and teachers is to help facilitate that play learning. So if you think about Play-Doh, what can a child learn from Play-Doh? Oh, the other thing with bubbles. Have you ever smelt bubbles? It has the most wonderful, sweet smell. It's another component of outcome. What does it smell like? Does it smell or does it smell nice? Me? Okay, what is Play-Doh? What do we do with Play-Doh? What can we do with Play-Doh?
Make shapes, figures.
Shapes, yes. What else? Colors, yes. Yes.
Texture.
Texture, yes. Touch, sensitivities, yes. Very nice. What else? Sorry? Fine motor skills, yes. What else? Let's go with my body. I can build my body. Me?
Yeah.
Learning opportunity, yeah. 2 arms, 2 legs, 5 fingers. I have a head, I have a torso, I have a neck, I have eyes, mouth, nose, as much detail as you can put in there. What do you also use here? Language. You're teaching them language skills. Not only the fine motor, the texture, all of that stuff, ne? Shapes, mathematical. Okay, color. Is it a big star or a small star? Can you press it out? It's all language-based as well. So there's a lot that we can learn from everyday childhood play activities. Finger painting, bubble blowing, all of that stuff. Don't be afraid for boys to play with dolls. Seriously not. We learn self-care with dolls. Not just how to look after a baby. But if you say, I've got a nose, where's the doll's nose? There it is. It is self-care and life skills that we're teaching as well. So boys must play with dolls as well. Ne? Girls can play with toys. Yeah, exactly. Because here we're learning other life skills again. Learning to accommodate other people in my play as well. We're going to drive, we are now a taxi. We're going to stop here and pick up 2 people and drive and drop you off there. There's a lot of skills that we can learn with car and dolls and all that play activities. Maybe we must come and do a parent workshop here one day as well. Then we do all of that stuff. And we sit on the floor, it's very nice. Okay. Repetitive movements, and those are the restrictive repetitive movements that we see with our autistic children. The stimulation or self-stimulation actions are there, which is the flapping, the rocking, the spinning of themselves. You get self-harming or self-injurious behaviors like head banging, scratching, biting. You get a lot of that with frustration. Have you ever known a child, I'm looking for a nice big book now, can I please borrow yours? It's a nice hardcover book, okay? Head banging. Whose child does head banging?
No,
Do you have one?
I've taught a child that does that.
Okay. Head banging. It sounds terrible. It's not so at all. And you have children who bang their heads at the front and children who bang their heads at the back. Yes. Yes, we have children banging heads on the floor, on the wall, everywhere else. So we have quite a lot of that going on with the self-injurious behavior. Then we also have sexual self-stimulation that we often see in our children as well, especially the little boys, where the hands are permanently in the pants. Nee? I told you we're going to get gross here. I'm not scared, are you? Okay, great. So, we have biting, and the biting is sometimes frustration, or if you look at the sensory component of autism, it is the sense of touch. The head banging, if it's front and back, it could be frustration or attention-seeking behavior. Because no parent is quicker than a parent with a child who bangs their head to drop what they are doing and go and pay attention to the child. To stop them from doing that. Because as you heard now, it sounds horrendous. But in actual fact, it's not so. But the parent will drop what they're doing to come and pay attention to the child who is doing it. So it could be some form of attention seeking. It could be pure frustration because you said no to something as well. If the child bangs their head on the side, it means that there is pain somewhere here. So we're talking about headaches, ear infections, tonsillitis, anything that could affect the side of the head. And you'll find if you have a headache, it's mostly on the one side of the head anyway. Ear infections. The child who is non-speaking cannot tell you, my ear is sore. You'll just see them starting to do this. So you can understand that there might be pain involved in the head banging as well. So front and back is frustration, attention seeking, that type of thing. Side banging has to do with pain. Right. The need for order and routine, they all want structure, they all want routine. And it must be there for them to be able to function properly every day. So I'm going to challenge the teachers first, and then I'm coming to the parents. What does your daily schedule in your classroom look like? For everybody. What does it look like in your classroom, your daily schedule for your children?
We start with the toilets first. Like daily routine, like how you start, arrival, toilet.
What does it look like?
I'm not sure that I get you. Do you want a step-by-step routine or what?
I want to know, is it in pictures or words?
Word.
And your side? Pictures or
It's
words?
pictures.
Words and pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. That is correct. I don't want just words. Okay. We're talking inclusive education. And we are also talking about not making an example of that one in the classroom who cannot read yet. We are talking about inclusive and proper inclusion. So if I have a classroom routine, especially with the young ones, the babies, you cannot tell me a 3 or 4-year-old child can read already. So I want the classroom routine to be put top to bottom or left to right. It's the way we read, top to bottom, left to right. And I want it in clear color pictures. Next to or at the bottom of every picture must be the word, like arrival, morning ring, toilet time, group activity, you can put in there art or whatever it is, tea time or play time, whatever. But the routine for the classroom, or the structure or the schedule for the classroom must be there in clear color pictures. Okay. Do we have a color printer?
Yes.
Okay. Don't go to her office for color printing. This is my friend. Okay. You must be challenging yourself to draw freehand your own classroom schedule and then color it in yourself. Nee? Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't let them come to your office to use the color printer. Challenge it, okay? So, I want you to all draw your classroom schedules from top to bottom, arrival to when they leave, with your own free hand, with your Koki pens or your colored pencils, and then to the extent of, do you have a laminator at school? Don't let them use your laminator. You are going to go to the shop, they can bring you some slips, okay? And you're going to buy the broad sellotape, and you're going to laminate your own pictures with your sellotape. Instead of using Max laminator, you can come and claim for the slips afterwards for the sellotape, Okay, can I challenge you all to do that?
Yes, yes.
Alright, are you all going to monitor each other?
Yes.
Come to each other's classrooms to see that they've done it,
Yeah.
Yeah?
Must come to me also.
Why?
But I all like to ask me to do.
Only if they pay you. In chocolates and stuff. Okay. Parents, don't think you're getting off lightly, You must draw your own child's schedule for when they are at home. Okay, so we're going to have a time when the child wakes up, when they must go to the bathroom, when they must eat their breakfast, when they must get dressed. The bathing is included in there. The eating is included in there. The time that they must get to school must be there. Either they get picked up or you drop them. It depends on what you do. It must be there. Then the time that they come home again, what is their free play activities? How does their schedule look for the afternoon? I want you to draw it. Who is battling with children to go to the toilet for potty training? We can even sequence a potty training routine. Do you know that there's more than 27 steps in just going to the toilet? Think about it. We need to go to the toilet, we need to open the door. First knock and see if there's somebody there. Open the toilet door, go in, close the toilet door behind you. You open the pants, you pull the pants down, you pull the underpants down. You either have the wee or the poo, depending on, there are many steps that we must follow. Until we get to flush, wash my hands in the basin. Okay, so there's quite a few steps. So parents, if you can do that and draw your routine for the day for your children for at home, that'll help a lot. And do you know that you've got your routines set up properly? The need for the child to continuously ask, what must I do now? What must I do now? What must I do now is gone. Because they know they can see it. The need for the anxiety of the child because they're unsure of what follows is gone. because they can see what's coming next. Okay, that is why routines and structure is really, really important for our children. Okay. Some autistic children look at details. They will have a little car, pick the car up here at eye level, spin the little wheels to see how it works. Which is also why some children will take dolls and rip them to pieces because they want to see how they were put together. Instead of having a nice toy to play with, they will pull it to pieces because they want to know how does it work. They look at the details of things, and that's what they want to know is how does it work. So don't think they are just destructive. There is a need for a closer look at how it works. That is why they pull things to pieces. It's not just because they want to be destructive and eat the puzzles. And they do. They eat their toys. They sometimes play with a box better than the toy. And which is why I asked Mom, your child is 11, but at what age and ability does the child function now? Because if you go to the shop and you go and buy a toy for an 11-year-old child, your child might not be interested in that toy. They want to play with the toys that's meant for the 5 and 6-year-old children. And that is what I'm asking you, is at what level does your child, what is the age ability level? Because sometimes we spend a lot of money on things that we eventually throw away because the child isn't playing with it, because they're not working at that level yet. Which is also why our education system now allows for an adapted curriculum. Because some children can read at an ability far greater than their age, but now we're marking them at grade 1. And they're actually reading at grade 3 level already. So here we are keeping them babies and we're keeping them bored, where they could actually excel. There is also that gifted child that we also need to look at. Hyperlexia is the ability to read at a greater level than their peers. And that's what your child is doing. Okay, so that's correct. Sensory differences. What did you schedule time for tea? Just so that I know. If not, then we will see.
What time is it? At 12 we can have it and we can
What is it called now? So much more.
4 minutes.
4 minutes to 1. Okay. So at 1 o'clock we're going to have a small, quick break. Is that correct? Is that fine with everyone?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just taking over the day. Okay, so if we look at sensory, and how many have we got?
8.
In the sensory levels of the child, a child can be what they call hypersensitive, which means they're oversensitive. Or they can be hyposensitive, which is undersensitive. What that means is, oversensitive means they get oversensitized very quickly with a certain thing. For instance, if they have a loud, sharp, sudden, unexpected sound, the child's going to block their ears. Nee? But yet, the same child can turn the TV louder if it's their own program that they want to watch. And in that sense of hearing, we now have an hypersensitivity to loud, sudden sounds, or hyposensitivity to the input of sounds if they are in control. So they can turn the sound on the TV or the radio louder because they are controlling that. If they don't get enough input, then they will make more noise. And they will continue making noise because they are looking for the input of the sound for their ears. Hypersensitivity don't like certain sounds. And that could also be the fluorescent lighting that we've got in the rooms, because a fluorescent light makes a noise. It can be a noise overstimulation from too many children outside, lawn mowers or weed eaters when the garden service come in to clean the grass up. It can be a dog barking in the playground or outside. It can be a car driving past. It can be anything if the child is oversensitive to that stimulation. If they are undersensitive, they are permanently going to look for input of that sense. They're going to make noise. They're going to start here in the throat making noises all the time, because they're looking for the input of that sound for the ears. They're going to be banging on things. They're going to scream. And some children have a very high-pitched screech. They're going to be screaming and making noises themselves, or turning sound up very loud. They will also look for things that vibrate. Have you ever stood next to an old fridge and the motor is running? And if you stand close to that fridge, it vibrates, because of the motor. They love that type of thing, because they're looking for that input of the sound. Does it make sense?
Yes,
Okay, so we're going to look at all of the sensory systems, or all of the senses, in a little bit. Let's have some tea first. Or is that kettle still boiling?
It's ready.
Is it ready? Okay. Shall we say 15? 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes. And then we can continue. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's a lot of information. But it's good. Okay.
Why do you think that?
Because it's such a money. Oh, far. I mean, what other motive would there be for
Exactly.
to come down in value, sales value, like logic? Okay, what do you think it is? Jealous boyfriends. I mean, come on. Dating married men. If part of that part. Thank God we are doing sex. That was your It's so sad. It's sad. You know what we've come to. Get up. It's really sad. Celebrate comfort.
Let me quickly do this. Yeah, turn off the sound. Because everything we don't hear, in fact, we are saying, we didn't hear it.
that is so good.
I'm thinking of die kokosnelle. Die nays. Are we ready? Can we continue?
Yes.
Thank you for the tea and the pies. Thank you for making the tea and serving. My tum-tum is full now. I'm not hungry anymore.
No.
Okay. Are you joining? Are you joining? You yeah? Okay. Ladies, must I wait for you?
No, you can.
Are you sure? Okay. So, let's continue with sensory issues. There were many questions. If you have more questions, we will answer questions as we go, okay? All right. So those are the senses, and we went through them. We've got sight, smell, taste, hearing, touch. I want to go to the touch and ask you, where on the body do we have a sense of touch? Can you feel that? Yes. If I come and touch your hand, can you feel that?
The skin. The skin. The skin.
Okay. Do we have a sense? Sorry, I must go back to my spot.
It's fine. It's fine. I can follow you around.
Do we have a sense of touch on the inside of your mouth?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Just have a chat.
Do we have a sense of touch here
Yes.
and here?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes? Yes. Okay.
Some more.
So a sense of touch goes with things like eating different types of food. And I'm talking about different, not tastes, the touch of the food. So here we can talk about, let's take a potato. What is the difference in texture in the mouth between mashed potato, potato salad, roast potatoes, and Simba chips? What texture differences is there in the mouth? It's here. What crunchy?
The chips.
Simba chips. Crunchy. Ne? Okay, what else do we have?
The mash is smooth. Mash is smooth.
Okay, you.
Fluffy.
Who's making mashed potatoes at my house come from now on, because my mashed potatoes are lumpy. There's mashed potatoes to come and make it for me. Okay, what do we think about potato salad? What have we got the texture?
The
No, that's a
taste.
taste.
Not the taste.
That's a taste,
That's the
okay?
taste.
The
Taste.
texture of it. What is in a potato salad?
Mayonnaise. Onions.
Eggs.
Parsley.
Sometimes eggs, sometimes onion.
Sometimes pineapple.
Sometimes, yes. You have boiled potato that you cut, and that awful thing called mayonnaise. The texture of mayonnaise, what is it like in your mouth? Like slimy.
Slimy.
Now you have a chewy potato and a crunchy onion, and then you have the slimy mayonnaise in there. Can you see the differences in texture of food inside the mouth?
Yes.
Now you have children who prefer to eat something crunchy and not something soft and smooth. And if you bring food to their mouths that is soft and smooth, what's a child going to do?
Spit it out.
That's what you get. You literally get a child who gags and vomits because you're only just bringing it to their face, not even in the mouth. What about a thing like a green pea? Explain the texture of a green pea in your mouth.
And the texture, the way outside the texture is nice and smooth, inside is a little bit rough. Like a little bit crumbly, not the smooth texture inside. Outside it's like smooth. When you put in your mouth, you can feel it's like a flat. And then inside you get a little bit crumbly.
And if you bite that pea, that shell on the outside of the pea becomes like a little rubber skin that you've got to chew because it's like rubbery. Me? And then on the inside, if you don't have a very old pea that was cooked that is becoming crumbly, you have a pea that becomes squirty, me? And soft on the inside and squishy. The same with corn. Corn is also the same thing. The inside of the corn is like squishy, and the outside is like a rubber skin, almost. It's two different textures. Ne? Children with problems with eating, 100% of the time you can go back to their sensory issues and you're going to see where the problem with food comes from. Make sense?
Yes.
Toilet training. We have problems with toilet training because number one, the feeling of it leaving the body. You can actually feel it. And some autistic children do not want to let go of a number two because two reasons. They don't want to let a part of their own body fall out. They consider it mine, a part of my body. The second thing is the feeling of it leaving the body. So there could be two reasons for toilet training issues, but that's not all, because toilet training is like a whole thing on its own. There's a whole science around toilet training, young children. Okay, so there was a question this morning about toilet training a child. That child does not seem to be ready yet for toilet training. So we have a long road to go there still. But there is a method of it. But we'll chat. Okay? Is there any of the parents with children who have not toilet trained yet? Who you're battling with? That still wears nappies? Not. Okay, so all of you are fine then. Toilet training is a science. Okay. Yes. So sense of touch. Sometimes if they're oversensitive, they find wearing certain clothing very difficult. Like a school shirt that's buttoned down with a collar is difficult for them to wear because it scratches their skin all the time. Then in that case, I would suggest an alternative like a shirt here white, the kids. What shirt do they wear?
Yes, white.
White shirts. So if they can't wear a cotton Pep Stores white button-down shirt, then we change it to a t-shirt or a golf shirt, which is softer in texture. Sometimes also the labels, you know the label in the back of the neck, yeah? We have to take them out. We have to unpick them and take them out. Because if you just cut them off, then there's still rough edges that scratches. So we actually sit and we unpick them and we take those labels off so that there's nothing scratching them. Buckles, jeans with a zip, closed shoes, sometimes the texture of the clothing, the tightness of the clothing, they cannot wear them. So their skins are really, really sensitive. To the point that if you are going to touch that child unexpectedly, the child might tell you you are hurting them. And you barely touch them because their skins are so sensitive. What we can do there is find an alternative for clothing to wear, like soft pull-up tracksuit pants and softer shirts, and slip-on shoes instead of tying the shoes. Or we can warn the child that we are going to come and touch them. We can say, may I? If I go, and I got here this morning, I did this, she was willing to give me a hug. But if I'm working with an autistic child, I will say, can I give you a hug? May I? It's respectful. You are taking them and their situation into consideration as well. We're not just, because we the adult and they the child, doing. We are actually asking, may I? If the child says no, don't be offended. Remember, we said they are very direct. If they don't feel like hugging anybody today, back off. You don't need to. I've gone to finger touching, high fives, elbow touches with another person as a greeting. Or you can just say hi and move on. Fist bump, move on. Instead of giving a hug, never ever kiss them. They just don't like it. Okay. If they are hyposensitive, they enjoy deep pressure and there may be self-injuries and they may not seem to feel any pain. So therein comes this nociception where they don't feel pain as well, combined with a sense of touch. And then remember, eating problems here, we also have a lot of eating problems with a sense of touch inside the mouth as well. Next one, sense of smell. Toileting problems, if they are hypersensitive. Guess why? It smells bad to go to the toilet. And if they are sensitive in the nose, they're going to find that very challenging. So we have to find a different way. Either, you know the toilet spray? You sometimes get a toilet spray that is not lavender fragranced. You get one that you spray that smells like nothing, but it absorbs smells. So you can use those type of toilet sprays before the child goes into the toilet. You spray it and then the child can go in. Because we're eliminating the smell of the feces. Okay. They will also react very strongly to strong perfumes. So cleaning the classroom, mopping the floors and that type of thing, when you have strong smelling like anti-antis and stuff that you use in your floor polish or something, rather clean the classrooms at the end of the day when the kids have all gone home, or early in the morning before they come to the classroom, but then ventilate, open all the windows so that the smell can go out before the kids come in. Your own perfume, check what you're wearing, because if you're wearing very strong smelled perfume, the child might react to your smell as well. And then they don't want to learn, they don't want to listen, they don't want to do anything in the class because you stink. And they don't want to be anywhere near you. Yeah, because you smell too strongly. People who smoke, people who, like myself, drink very strong coffee, if you come anywhere near them and you have a breath on you, yeah, then the child might tell you to back off because you stink as well. Get away from me because they're oversensitive in the nose. What about excessive smelling of things does not react to offensive smell? So this child will go to the extent of licking something and then smelling it. Okay, so that is the worst case scenario for hypersensitivity to the sense of smell, where they lick things and then they smell. They will lick you as well and smell any objects that they get. Anything, if the child has a hypersensitivity to the sense of smell, will first go to the nose and then they will decide yes or no, I want it or I don't. Food, clothing, toys, stationery, anything will go first nose and then they will decide if they want it or not. If they're hyper or hyposensitive with with the sense of smell as well, we might find things that's called fecal smearing, which is poop smearing. They'll stick their hands in their pants, they'll produce a poo, they'll pick it out, and then they'll on you, on the table, and they will eat it. Yeah, we know that one. Yes. That is again the worst side of sense of smell hypo. Okay. Next, sense of hearing. hypersensitivity, block the ears for sudden loud sounds or sounds with the frequency that they don't like. If something has a very high-pitched humming noise, like maybe this thing's fan, or the light sensitivity, not just the lights, but the actual flickering of the light itself. Anything to do with sound, that is for them hypersensitive. The under or hypo is they will bang on objects, they will make the noise themselves, they will enjoy the deep vibration that you get from medi massages. You know those massage machines that you can do your own shoulders and stuff with? Love that stuff. The kids, they just love them. Sight, focus on the detail, and this is where they will go with, I'm looking at the finest detail on something that they are working with. Sensitivity to light, colors, and very busy visual input. So classrooms that are bright, too many pictures on the walls, artwork everywhere, your posters everywhere. I'm going to tell you, you're going to hate me, but I'm going to say, take them down. No. Yes. Yes. A child with autism is overstimulated with too many visuals everywhere. Sure. And if you want to teach that child sensitively, then you would put them in such a position where all the, I'm going to say, visual noise, you know what I mean, too much, is behind them. So if their desk is facing this way, that side will be blank with no pictures, nothing on it. Here is going to be where all your posters and your art lives. If your theme for the week or the 2 weeks is wild animals, then why have you got the South African flag up there and my body parts and all the numbers from 1 to 100? Why have you got that up there? It's for your benefit, not the children. The children is concentrating on one theme at a time. And that's where your focus must be. So if you want to have visual pollution up in your class, then at least make it theme-based, where it belongs. Otherwise, there's just too much going on and the child is distracted all the time. If you have open shelving in your classroom, then buy a sheet from Pep Stores that is the same color as the wall color in your classroom. Then you thumb tack it on top of the shelf and you drop the curtain down your sheet. You cover that shelf that is so demarcated with too many things in there. And then it will make it disappear because it's the same color as the wall, so it's one color. The child won't be distracted. Okay. Don't hate me. I'm here to deliver the messages to you. Okay. If the child is hypo or seeking, then they would be the ones, there's a light source, they will sit with their fingers and flick their fingers up and down to get that extra input of light. They're the ones who's going to watch things that are spinning around, like a fan, for instance, that turns around and around. Classroom fans that turn around and around. They're going to watch things with movement all the time. And they are going to enjoy the sense of movement, the sense of light playing with the eye as well. Then taste, remember with the touch, the texture of the food in the mouth. The sense of taste as well. If they're hyper, then they will be very picky and poor eaters. When Daniel was 0 to 2 years, he developed like any other normal child. He ate anything, he wore any clothing, he was connected with us, he spoke, everything was fine. At the age of 2, he changed completely. He didn't want to eat certain food anymore. Now, picky eating becomes a thing like, I am only going to eat boiled white rice. That's it. That's it, nothing else. And then the child will go with bland food, white. Only the meat from the chicken breast, but cut off anything that doesn't look as if it's white meat. Or white boiled rice, or white meat, only the inside of that pork chop, that cut out, that's it. So they will only eat certain foods, certain textures, certain tastes of food, but most often it is that the child doesn't want any spices, salt, pepper, anything like that with his food. It must be bland, blank food. If you give him anything else, he's going to vomit. He's going to turn his head away. He doesn't want the food. What does the mom do now? Is the mom says, I've cooked all these vegetables. Vegetables are good for you. You have to eat your vegetables. And then she forces the child to eat that food. Nee? The child goes, and all the food comes out. Or the child refuses to eat completely. And when the child becomes 13, 14 years old, when you were now here forcing food at 2 or 3 years of age, the child has a big problem with eating when they're in their puberty years. Because you created that problem here already. Leave the child alone, don't feed them what they don't want to eat. Rather, mom, like myself, with a picky eating child, give the child a multivitamin, a good multivitamin. Then you know that the child's needs are being met. But don't force feed children food. Please. It doesn't work. Next thing is the hypo, eating anything and mixing their foods. They can have spicy foods, they can have the one thing on top of the other, they can have different textures, there's no problem at all. As much as you can with hot sauce and aromat and tomato sauce and everything, and the child will mix it all together and eat it. We also have things that we call pick-up eaters, which means they will literally eat anything. Anything. They will pick it off the ground and eat it. They will steal it off other people's plates and they will eat it. They will eat literally anything. These are the children who eat soap. Ne? Soap powder for washing your clothing with. Charcoal, wood, press stick, the erasers of their pencils. They eat anything. Because they are looking for the taste and they are looking for the texture of that food. So they will literally eat anything. Paper. They eat their books. They eat their toys. They eat it. It goes in and you can see it when it comes out because they've eaten it. Okay, so there's two different things with taste and eating. With vestibular, it's the fear of movement in the balance. Nee? So these are the children that cannot balance on one leg, jump or hop on one leg, walk backwards, be tipped backwards, on a swinging, or anything that spins them around and around. So if they are hyper, they are fearful of any of the movements that I've mentioned now. If they are hypo, they are going to look for more of the same. So if they are hyper and you put them on a swing, and you, very nice teacher that you are, take the swing and you push the child on the swing and the child screams. It is not because they are having fun. It is because they are deathly afraid. Now, so take the child off the swing. Then we break it down into very small little steps before we try this again. We will literally go with the child, sit on the swing. Okay, get up, go, that's fine. Next time you're going to say to them, sit on the swing, lift one leg. Okay, you've had enough, go. It's fine. The next time we're going to say, lift one leg, and with this leg, you're going to move your bum with the swing. Okay, that's enough, get up, go. You're going to break that sitting down on the swing into tiny little steps, and then the child will be able to respond. Do not ever do balancing activities with a child if they are fearful of that movement. But if they are seeking that, then you can have hammocks and swings and those tire swings that go around and around that the children can sit on and then they spin themselves up and down. Anything like that will go because the child is looking for more of that input there. Okay, next one is my body space. There's a little step here at the door. Nee? Who of you took out a ruler to measure the step to see how far you must pick up your foot to go up? Who did that? Nobody. Nee? Guess why? Because your body knows things. body knows where it is in the space that it is in at the moment. Your body knows that you are very close to your friend next to you. If you stick out your arm, you can touch it. I know how far I am from my computer and my mouse. I know I'm standing on a very hard floor surface. I know that if I have, this is a full bottle, this is an empty bottle, this one weighs nothing. This one has almost 500 mils of water, which means it weighs almost 500 grams. This one weighs almost nothing. My body knows to have it here, how much muscle power I need to hold this bottle here. Compared to the muscle power in this arm, this one is almost nothing. But now I can do this. And automatically my body adjusts to the muscle power I need for this one. Okay, my body knows how far I am from things. My body knows if I go to you and I give you a hug now, how much strength or force I must use for that. If I was a rugby player and I had to tackle someone, my body knows there's a difference between a social, loving hug and knocking this person over. So proprioception means I can do fine motor skills, I can do gross motor skills, and my body knows what this environment is around me. We know. Okay, next one, interoception. What do we have on the inside of our bodies? What is here? My stomach. What is here? The bladder. What is on this side? Bowel movement. What is here? Intestines. What do you feel here when you have a runny tummy?
Moving.
Yes, turbulence. Yes, exactly. What do you feel here when you have eaten Christmas lunch?
Bloated.
Bloated, heavy, full. That it needs to take until from 12 o'clock until 6 o'clock tonight before you can even think of eating pudding. Because you've eaten so much meat now for Christmas dinner. So my body from the inside can tell me things as well. A child with an hypersensitivity to internal senses. If my tummy is hypersensitive, my tummy is going to say, I don't want food, don't feed me. I'm full. I don't want anything, thank you. But if you have hypo, my tummy is going to say, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me all the time. The same thing with the bladder. If it's hypersensitive, my bladder is going to say, I must go to the toilet now. And then you ask teacher, can I go to the toilet? Teacher says, yes, it's okay, go. 5 minutes later, the child's like, I need to go again. My bladder is constantly telling my brain it's full and needs to go. Because it's hypersensitive area. The same with the bowel movements. Everything. What about if you get a big fright? Inside here, your heart is going like because somebody gave you a very big shock and a fright. You feel it here. It's part of your internal senses. So anxiety is from here as well. If it's heightened and lowered, it means that there's something wrong on the inside here. And then we need to go and see an occupational therapist. For all of our sensory problems, we need to go and consult an occupational therapist. Okay, they are the ones who can help us with sensory regulation. So if the child is hyper, then they can help the child to calm down. If the child is hypo, they can give exercises to help the child input some more of this information. Okay, now we have a problem. Because if a child is hypo, both in one sense, or all 8 at the same time, now we have a problem. Because if the child is hypersensitive in hearing and sight, which is all the classroom clutter, remember, it must go to back. And you can hear that there's a dog barking outside. I can actually hear it, dog barking. And there is fidgeting going on in the classroom with all the other children. The teacher comes and stands in front of you and says, look at me when I talk to you. Or they touch you. Or somebody comes and touches your desk all the time. Your perfume has changed. Your hairstyle has changed. Because guess what women like to do? We like to braid. We like to color. Ne? And if I don't color my hair, I'm going to be very grey underneath here. You don't know it. We like to wear nice clothing. We like to wear bling blings. Ne? We like to wear shoes with little stones and rhinestones and stuff on them. Our appearance and what we are wearing and what we are wearing as perfume-wise interferes so much with the children. You will not believe it. Let me make examples. Too many patterns, too much writing. I know it says teacher, we know that. Okay. You find, because you've got a small logo, you find one solid color. Too many patterns, too many lines. I know it's your school uniform, but sorry, writing on your t-shirt. Okay. Your scarf thing is not good. You can take it. Writing, colorful clothing, it's got patterns and flowers on there. Okay. What do you do with your hair? I'm asking questions next. You find Mama? Thank you. You one color as well. Earrings, use earrings. You find. What do you do when your style changes?
Break.
Okay. You are fine. You are fine. You are fine. Hey. Hey. You are good. So. Do you see where I'm going? Myself, when I work with my children, plain color. These nails, I had them done specially to come here. So I'm beautiful. I would have plain color nail polish on my nails as well. So nails, hair, jewelry, clothing, smelling. Make sure that you are neutral colors. Otherwise, you will overstimulate your child. So we're talking about a multi-sensory processing problem where all of their sensory problems come in at the same intensity. So they can't filter out the hypo in one or all 8 their senses at the same time. And that is where the problem comes in with our children. Their sensory problems become a major problem. Okay, make sense?
Yes.
Go. Do you know what the difference is between a meltdown and a tantrum?
No.
Okay, scenario 1. Scenario 1. Mommy has a 4-year-old and she is going to Pick n Pay. The child is walking into Pick n Pay with mom after school. No lunch yet. Mommy says to the child, we're quickly going to buy bread and milk. That's it. Then we're going home. Mommy decides that she is going to buy the Coke and she must go and buy something else. And there's always something else when we go to the shop. We never just go in for what we want. The child then says to mom, because always there is a spot in the shop when they either have sweets or toys. You know almost those places there in the shop. The child points, he says, I want that red car. Mom says no. This is a tantrum happening. A tantrum is like us working for a boss and at the end of the month you say, where's my salary? I want payment. The payment is that car. Now, Mom isn't just going to take it down and put it in the basket. Mom said no. There, this wallet is empty. I don't have money for you today. There is nothing for you. We are just buying these items and then we're going home. The child looks at Mom and he says, Mom, I want that car. Mom says, I told you, no, I don't have money. All the reasons under the sun that Mom gives me. The child says, oh, I see you. I'm going to get you. Because my job now is to get to that car. Done. Nick? Now the child starts working for his car. Nick? And he's going to start with, Mom! Car! Mom says no. Child says, car! Mom says no. And so it will go until the child looks this way. 6 people shut audience this side. 5 people this side. Could have been better, but I'll take it. Thanks. Audience. Child goes whoop on the floor. What does Mom do? Take the car, put in the basket, go to the toilet. Have you ever seen a child throwing a tantrum and when they get what they want, they jump up and they are happy? A tantrum, not one tear. Nothing. Just happiness. They scream and they make a big fuss in the scene until mother is so embarrassed that she eventually takes the toy, put it there, and then the child is happy. Tantrum. Big job. Until they get payment. We all have seen that before. Meltdown, something different completely. Scenario number 2. Mom takes her child with a very sensitive nose to the shop to go and buy the normal bread and milk. Mom says, I also need sunlight soap powder for washing clothes. Now she goes and walks from this end of the aisle slowly because she's looking at prices and she's looking at what they've got available. She's looking at the specials. She walks from there to there, turns around, walks back again. It takes time. Because in here, mental maths, not everybody can do mental maths. Because here you've got to also say, you know, if I buy 3 kilos now, it's going to be cheaper than the 2 kilo. Even if I have to pay 20 rand more now, at least it's cheaper if I work it out that way. So Mom walks up and down the aisle to get the best powder and the best price. We don't have money to waste here. We must buy the right thing. This child is sensitive here. Now the child starts with it gets worse and louder and worse. He is yanking at Mom. Come, let's go. I can't do this anymore. Until he eventually has a meltdown. Looks different to an autistic tantrum or a child's tantrum. An autistic meltdown is something completely different. You did not pay attention to the signs the child was giving to say, I am being oversensitive to what this environment is giving me. Whose fault is that? Mommy. Mommy took him to the shop when she knew the child had sensitivity and she spent time checking prices. So the tantrum is different to the meltdown because the meltdown is caused by an overloading of either you asking the child to do too much, your own expectations being too high, the demands placed on the child over time is too much, sensory issues is too much, and then the child has a meltdown. But it's not the child's fault. Because now the child wants to be, or the parent wants to discipline that child, but it's not the child's fault. So you can't have a meltdown and discipline as well, because that's punishing the child twice. You can't have that. Okay. Next is, when they have a meltdown, you must keep the child safe and the environment safe. If it is possible to take all the other children out of the classroom and keep that one there, that's fine. Otherwise, take that child out if it's possible, because sometimes during a meltdown, you can't even move that child. There cannot be two of you having a meltdown at the same time. So you, being the teacher and parent, must be the adult around here and appear calm. Stay calm. You can't also now have a meltdown because the child is having a meltdown. Okay. Yes. Some of the things that can trigger a meltdown is emotional, like trauma, trauma itself, sensory overload, lack of processing time. For instance, you tell the child, go to the, okay, let's use a home example. Go to the bedroom, fetch your pajamas, come to the bathroom and run the bath because we need to bath. Now you gave the child many instructions at the same time. The child is still going to the bedroom because here he is planning things. He's processing information. Now he stands in front of the cupboard and he says, Mom says I must go fetch my pajamas. Which pajamas? Am I hot or cold? Must it be the Barney pajamas or the SpongeBob pajamas? Mom didn't say. Mom is waiting in the bathroom. So now the child is processing information. Mom shouts from that side, are you in the bedroom yet? Have you got your pajamas? Come, we must get the... And then the child says, I'm still trying to figure out this pajama situation. Now you are shouting at me already. And in the end, when you have shouted at the child for the 7th time, you have lost the plot already because you are now angry with the child. The child must start processing from the beginning again, every time that you start with your instructions. So we didn't give him enough time to process. There could be fatigue, he could be very tired or ill. There could be, this thing is the cortisol level. Cortisol is the chemical in the body that is produced by stress. And if the child cannot get rid of the cortisol level in their bodies, they can't calm down. So we need to give them somehow of getting rid of this chemical in their body as well. There could be surprises, sudden things that you ask them to do, and they can't handle that. Changes in their routine or more. Autism isn't just a blah thing. Autistic people have a lot of skills. Number one is their memory. They have an absolutely fantastic memory. They memorize work, they memorize people, they memorize activities and routines like no other person on this earth can do. Which is why they become quite good at doing certain things because of their phenomenal memory skills. They still remember what you taught them when they were 2, when they are turning 26. My son will still remember every single number plate of every family member that came to our house. And he will say, this car of mine is my 922. He doesn't say it's a Volvo. He says, my car is 922. That's the number of the car. My previous car that I sold before I had to buy this one was an 814. He knows, he still knows every single number of number plates. Now, in a school situation, up to a grade 3 level, children still learn with rote memory. From grade 4 level onwards, they start applying what they've learned. So that is why it is with our children in a school situation, they do very well up to grade 3 level, but from there they start struggling with the academic work, because academic work changes when you go from the easy rote memory learning to grade 4 when it starts being applied. You must now use your own core. with a story underneath when they do comprehension tests. In the comprehension test, it would be a story. The lion came and he was very hot and he was lying under the tree. They would give them the whole scenario. Ne? Then there would be a picture of a tree, the lion underneath it, and a monkey sitting in the tree. The questions from there would be, where was the lion lying? The lion is lying under the tree. You can see it. There's the picture, there was the story. In grade 4, they will start with the same story. They would ask you, what do you think the monkey was planning while he was sitting in the tree? Now the child must sort of put themselves in the shoes of the monkey and think out an imaginative story. It's not there, but they need to apply information. That's not just rote memory. Okay, number 2 is they might have strong skills in things like mathematics, music, anything like that, that follows rules. Mathematics has rules, music has rules, languages has rules, so that they would be able to follow quite easily. Preferred interest would lead to hyperfocus. My son, when he went to school, was a thief. A thief. A big thief. He would steal the press stick. He would go to the walls or wherever, like those kind of things, and if there's press stick there, he would go and put his back against it and then pull the press stick up from behind the picture. And he had a ball of press stick that he was walking around with, always. And we figured out at 7 that he could pinch a piece of the press stick off and then make something very quickly with his hands. And when you look again, it's either a teddy bear or a person or an animal, something that he made. And we very quickly learned that he had a good skill, he had a talent. And I took him and his ball of press stick to an art teacher, the same one he's still going to, Sharon. And I said to her, autistic child, ball of press stick, do what you can. He's yours now. And she did. He is now a beautifully talented artist because he is skilled, very skilled. But when he left school at 18, we thought that this skill of his can be translated into a job skill or an adult skill, and something to do as an after-school job. He likes eating cake. And he likes eating icing sugar. Ne? With his skill of making small things and his love of eating cake, today he is a baker and a cake decorator. So from stealing press stick to being a cake decorator is a special interest where he could focus himself 100%. And that is what he's doing now, is he is a cake decorator. Because of this hyper-focus in his specific skills that he wanted to do, his interest that he wanted. And then they know letters and numbers and shapes and colors before their typical peers might be able to teach themselves very difficult skills themselves. I might have detailed and extensive knowledge of certain topics. They like researching things. Like Daniel with his cake decorating, he would sit on YouTube for ages looking at what people do when they do chocolate molding and cake decorating. He would sit and watch it for hours to upskill himself and learn more. He is in fact in East London the only male member and the youngest member of the East London Cake Decorators Guild. He's a fully paid up member of the guild. So his special interest and the fact that he can teach himself very difficult skills himself is paying off now. So it's not such a bad thing being autistic. No. Actually not. I think he's got a better bank balance than I have. Not to say that mommy doesn't have to pay off for all the ingredients. Because him being the artist, he puts the money in his pocket when people pay him, but mommy has to buy the flour and the sugar, and mommy doesn't get paid like him. Okay. So hyperlexia is the ability to read at a level far greater than their age or ability. So if they're working at an ability level of 4 years of age, if they are hyperlexic, then they might read at an ability level 10, 12, 15. Because they can decode words and they can read fluently. The fact here is if you then go to ask them, what does this word mean? They can't tell you. Because they haven't learned that yet. But they can actually decode that word and speak it and read it, but they don't know what it actually means. Okay, and then they have many more skills than that. The strengths, it's important to recognize all the strengths because those are the things that we can use later in life to have job skills and to educate them further. Not all autistic people are skilled in the same way, they all have their own talents. So some of the myths that we are looking at, it is not caused by curses, witchcraft, anything like that. It still believes out there that it is caused by some kind of outside interference with the family. Okay, it's not that. It is not a disease, because a disease is like flu or a cold or measles, chicken pox. We cannot say that autism is a disease because there's no medication for it at all. Number 2 is vaccines. Number 3, vaccines did not cause autism at all. You know, when the babies are 18 months or 2 years of age, they go to the clinic and they get that MMR injection, the big injection for little babies. Some people used to say that my child showed the signs of autism almost immediately after they got the injection. Therefore, it must have been the vaccine. That whole scenario was debunked. It was a Dr. Wakefield that brought this thing as a study, and he published a paper about it. And Dr. Wakefield was actually disbarred. He is not a doctor anymore. That has been debunked. It's not caused by vaccines at all. It's not becoming an epidemic. Our way of detecting autism is just much better at the moment. We have better screening tools to get more children and adults diagnosed. Not all people with autism is a savant or very gifted. Some of them do have a good skill in certain areas, but they are not savants or gifted people. Autistic people don't have emotions or empathy, we've discussed that. But there is a problem that says autistic people do not understand the emotions of normal people. And normal people do not get the emotions and cannot empathize with autistic people. Now they say autistic people understand and empathize with autistic people very well. They know each other. Normal people understand and can empathize with normal people very well. But the problem is this overlapping, that autistic people and normal people don't understand each other very well. And that is where the double empathy problem comes from. Autistic people have an intellectual disability. Not all autistic people have an intellectual disability. Yet some of them have an intellectual impairment. About 40% of people also have some kind of a disability when it comes with intellectual disabilities. And now we have autism as a circle and intellectual disabilities as a circle because it's two different diagnoses. But then somewhere in the middle, some of our autistic people also have both. So not all of them have an intellectual disability, but some do. Autistic people don't speak. Not all of them. Some autistic people speak fluently. Some autistic people actually speak little professors. Instead of saying it's a nice sunny day or it's warm today, they will then say it is a brilliantly sunny day in the southern hemisphere. And it is like talking up here when we are talking to here. Okay? So some of them have a great gift and skill with speaking to other people, but some of them cannot speak at all, but not all. Children grow out of their autism? No. Children with autism become adults with autism. We don't grow out of it. We don't. Some organizations claim that they can cure autistic people. If it's a person with autism, they are not curable. They cannot be cured. But we can manage that condition very well. And all the people can learn. I can even teach a dog to learn something. Why would you not be able to teach people to learn? Everybody can learn. That's some nonsense. It's not caused by bad parenting, otherwise both my kids would be having a problem. If I was a bad parent, then Kaylee wouldn't be the stunning young woman that she is at the moment. And they would both have a problem if it was bad parenting. And they are not violent and aggressive. Autistic people, in actual fact, are very sweet and calm and quiet and loving. If they are in a meltdown situation, they might lash out and become aggressive, but then you must give them the space so that they can calm down again. They are not normally very aggressive people. They are not. They are actually very calm and loving people. Diagnosis and screening must be made by a team of people. Parents are involved in it. Teachers are involved in it. Support staff involved in it. Community is involved in it. Then you would also have your therapists that the child goes and sees, your audiologist, the speech therapist, occupational therapist, sometimes a physiotherapist as well, your home doctor, your clinic sister. They would all form part of a very large team of people working together. But in the end, the final diagnosis is made by a pediatrician, which is the children's doctor, a neuropediatrician, a school psychologist or educational psychologist, or a psychiatrist. So we only have 4 people that can actually make a diagnosis of children. As a teacher, you can't go to the parent and say your child is autistic. We are not allowed to do that. Even myself, I am not a medically trained person. I cannot tell the parent your child has autism. I can make a recommendation. That's it. And that's the only thing I can do and you can do is to refer. Teachers, I would like to talk to you just now about the developmental milestones. And if you don't know how to sensitively tell parents that there is something wrong with their child, we fill this in. And this is black and white. We give it to the parents to work with. Parents, if the teacher calls you and says, there's something wrong with your child, listen. They have years of experience with this. They have seen many children. If they pick up that there is a delay or something wrong with your child, listen. Because the quicker you can have your child diagnosed, the quicker we can get the proper services for your child. Does it make sense? Don't be shy to go and have your child diagnosed. Listen to the people who actually work with your child day in, day out. They know what they're talking about. And I'm telling you that from a parent's perspective. Me? I was also there one day when my child was not doing what they were supposed to be doing. And at least I listened to them and went and had my child diagnosed. It took 2 years, but I still did it. It took a very long time to have Daniel diagnosed. Screening and assessment? No. I at 2 years of age went to the pediatrician and I said there's something wrong with my child. He said, don't compare your daughter to your son because they develop, because the one is a girl and one is a boy. Don't compare the children. The second time I went there, he said to me, my own son only started speaking at 4. Your son is just delayed. The third time I went there, he said to me, Mrs. Bruce Alexander, you are a neurotic mother, take a child out. He actually told me that I was neurotic. The fourth time was the night when I nearly killed myself. And I'm not talking funny nonsenses now. I'm telling you the truth. I nearly committed suicide because I couldn't handle it anymore. And I took the child back to the doctor. And I told the doctor, because when I walked in the door, he was like, Mrs. Bruce Alexander. I said, shut up. Sit there and you're going to listen to me now. I've had enough now. So after 2 years, and then I was tired of this pediatrician to say to him, shut up and sit and listen. And by that afternoon, we had a diagnosis. So that was a sad story in my life. Anyway, but 2 years of fighting with my pediatrician. Anyway, the type of support that we can expect for our children is number one, therapy. And therapy includes checking the inside of the ears with an audiologist to see that the inside of the ears actually working. They're not deaf, they can hear. Second one is a speech language pathologist or speech therapist. You go to them if the child is delayed in speech or they have apraxia problems. You go to the speech therapist to help them. The occupational therapist is there to help them with daily life activities, fine motor skills, gross motor skills. You can also go to a physiotherapist. A lot of our children also have cerebral palsy, where their muscles become weak or they have CP, caused by birth and oxygen starvation. So there is also problems sometimes with CP. So then the physiotherapist will also be working with our children. The other thing is the type of schooling that the child needs. They either need to go mainstream schooling, special needs schooling, or we fit them into wherever they must go in. But the quicker, the better. If the child can go there. Or certain medications. Listen up, autism doesn't have medication, but you can medicate anxieties, you can medicate ADHD, all of that stuff. So that's the only thing we can medicate then. So the therapies we have talked about, certain schooling, medications we've talked about. Then we have the new and old terminology. We don't call the person a person with autism. We say that person is autistic. We put their identity first. Ne? Because it says if it's a person with autism, it almost sounds like you're pulling a trailer. Ne? It's Antoinette with my autism. Ne? No, I am autistic. That is who I am. So that is what the autistic community prefers now. The second thing is we don't call them high functioning and low functioning anymore. We say the needs of support, the level of support. So they're either high support needs, so lots of support, or low support needs, they don't need that much support. And then also we don't speak of non-verbal children anymore. We say they are non-speaking. Non-verbal says the child has nothing to say. But our children have a lot to say. They communicate all the time. It's just that they cannot speak. So we call them non-speaking, not non-verbal. Okay. And neurodiversity just means everybody thinks about things differently. Ma'am, if I want to get to the number 20, how can I do it? How do you go to number 20? If you need to do mathematical calculation, how do you get to 20? If I want to get to the number 20, how must I do it? 1, 2, 3. Okay. How else can I get to 20? From 7 to complete. From 7 to complete. Just give me an example. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's what she said. Don't repeat.
Addition was supposed to be
Anyone?
the smallest numbers.
Yeah.
And when they know the smallest numbers, they add.
Give me an example.
1 plus 3 today.
How do you get to 20 today?
Today.
10 plus 10. 10 plus 10.
10 plus
5
8.
times 2.
1 plus 19.
Yeah. It's 20.
5, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah.
How else? 2, 4, 6, 8,
5
10.
times 4.
5 times yes. What else? Huh? 10 plus 10 is fine. How do you get to 20? Just say 20. 20 times 1. Yeah. How about 30 minus 10? There's a whole lot of ways that we can get to the number 20. And everybody can come up with their own idea. Which means that my brain don't work the same as yours.
Yeah.
It doesn't work the same as yours. See that? We all think about things and process and work things out differently. That is what neurodiversity is all about, is the differences of brain functioning. So if somebody says they're neurodiverse, normally they're talking about themselves as an autistic community or one of the spectrum disorders. They say they are neurodiverse. They think about things differently. But I say we all think about things differently. So neurodiversity is a difference in the brain. And then executive functioning is also interfered by autism, and this health or is interfered with impulse control, that just shutting up something. Or inflexible thinking, emotional regulation, like your daughter, ma'am, that just cannot calm down when she gets upset. Emotional regulation is like a 2-year-old who gets upset about something and then calm down quickly again. That's their emotional regulation. Working memory, self-monitoring, planning and prioritizing, task initiation. How often do you give a child a task to do and then they don't even know where to start? It takes them ages just to start that work. Okay, so that, and then organization. And the conclusion of today is we listen to the people with autism. They are people living with it every day. So we listen to them. We say, how does the autistic community feel about this type of therapy? Then the autistic community says, no, we think it's harmful. How does the autistic person feel about saying, I am Daniel with autism? No, we don't like it. We want to be called autistic. So we listen to what they have to say, but then the other experts here are the parents. We are sitting here with a room full of experts here. Because this person has the knowledge of their own child. They have walked the walk with the professionals to get their child diagnosed as well. They know things about their own child that no one else knows. So that person is your resource as well. And then treat the autistic person like a person. They're not an it or a thing. They're not less than anyone else. They're a person. They are a valid human being. So treat them like that. And then also ask if you don't have any ideas or you don't know what you're doing or you would like more information, you ask. So it's your chance now to ask me questions. Because we're done now. Yeah, what? Can I help? That's good. Toilet training an autistic child, like any other child, is a very complicated thing. Because we can't assume that just because they're 2 years old now, there are processes that we need to follow. Number one for toilet training is make sure the child knows the difference between wet and dry. If they are wet and they can show you that they're wet, they don't like their wet clothing, then the chances are they easier. If you can't train a child potty training because they're doing a number 2 in a nappy and they always want to wear the nappy, it's because visually they have not learned yet where poo belongs. Okay, poo to them belongs in the nappy with their wet wipes, tied up in a parcel, in the plastic packet, in the rubbish bin. Because no one has ever shown them that poo belongs in the toilet. So they don't have an idea where their own poo belongs except for in the nappy where it has always been. So no one has actually shown them yet what to do with it. So So visually, we need to train them differently as well.
The boy in my class, for instance, his mother was talking to me yesterday as well. When he comes to school, he'll be wearing a napkin. He drinks a lot of water. He drinks a big water and he still drinks his cool drinks and juices. We take him to the toilet with the other boys. Take the nappy off and he just stands there, doesn't do anything. But it goes on at about 3, 4. From 7 o'clock up until that time, he refuses to pee in his napkin, but he wouldn't pee in the toilet either. So the mother was concerned about he doesn't pee.
Yeah, but when he's at home, he does.
As soon as she undresses him, when she puts his underwear on, as soon as the nappy is off, he will go and get his underwear. But he won't pee in his napkin.
Then he doesn't have that understanding yet. He's not ready yet. We need to figure out first if he is ready for toilet training before we start. Even if he's 4 or 5. If he's not ready, he's not ready. He must, when he's wearing underwear, first can show us. Yeah. And if we're going to get rid of nappies, we get rid of the nappies. We don't have nappies for this situation and not for there. We take it away, it's gone. So toilet training is complicated. It's like this whole 2-hour thing. Matt?
Yeah, I was wondering, what would you advise, what management technique can we say for someone who struggles in writing and is in a mainstream school? Now, is the child, are we going to give perhaps maybe extra 10 minutes for the child? Okay, that means struggling with writing means you always fall short in classroom. Now, do we give extra time or do we maybe help the child talk her into trying to meet up with tasks?
According to SIAS, you must follow the SIAS process. Screening, identification, assessment, support. As the class teacher of the child, SNA starts with the class teacher in the class. So the SIAS process starts there. And it's only when you have gone the process that you can get the services for the child. Are you fully equipped and aware of the whole SIAS process?
No.
Then we need to talk. We shall do that. Okay. Next question.
I wanted to ask, like you say there is the new terms that are used for person first language.
Yes.
So now we have the child, how do we make reference? Because the way I knew it was that, for instance, the person with
that is the whole disability terms.
Yes. So
yes.
like now in our community, like in the school, how are we going to make reference to language?
Okay, so we would say Tando is autistic. Yeah. We would not go autistic Tando. That's pointless. If you talk about Tando anyway. If you have to bring this disability in, then you would say Tando is autistic. Yes, Matt.
You spoke on inclusivity, and the question that I have is that, let's say the class, the school has a class that has neurotypical and also autistic children in it. So from what I've been hearing that they have these repetitive behaviors and a routine that they need to follow. So having to mix them in one setting, the neurotypical children and also the autistic one, once the neurotypical children interact with their routine, or maybe, I don't know.
Not if the routine is set for the whole class. Everybody must arrive at 7:30, therefore arrival time is 7:30. Everybody is going to the toilet at 9:30. Everybody does it. So the routine would be there for the whole class, not just one person. So the inclusivity would come in that the method that we are addressing the routines in the classroom would benefit everyone, not just one. Yeah. So then you can mix neurotypical and autistic in the the same class because the methods are going to be the same. Because a neurotypical person can also benefit from a picture schedule, not just the autistic child. Because with the picture schedule, we're going to say arrival, and we're going to have maybe a picture of a car and the child with a suitcase standing next to the car. And underneath that is going to be the word arrival. So everybody can follow the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else with questions? Yes.
Something else. She has got a child with Down syndrome. And some of us has got children with autism. Is there a big difference?
Yes. Yes.
They're not in the same.
No. Autistic people require a lot of hands-on support. Ours is a condition where Down's is a chromosomal disorder. It's two different things altogether. It's not the same thing. We can use the same methods in teaching because we're still going to include certificate for the whole class, and a Down child and an autistic child can be taught in the same way, but they are not the same at all. A question that I was asked earlier is, was it you that we wanted to know about how many kids in a class?
Yes, I wanted to know.
Right. According to SA SANS and the weighting of children, one normal child, a neurotypical child, counts as one child in a classroom. For instance, a child who is hearing impaired or has a visual impairment counts as 5 children in a class. A child with autism counts as 6 or 7 children in a class, which is international norms and standards. If you have 6 children in a classroom that are all autistic, you can't have more than that, only 6. Plus, you must have a teacher and a teacher assistant in one class with those children. If you have a child with a disability or any type of additional needs, it is best practice to have an assistant in that classroom as well, not provided by the parent. Because if they are in the education system, that help should come from the education system as well, as again part of CS. Is that fine?
Yes, yes,
good.
thank you.
I have 2 last questions.
Yes.
The first one is addressing the issue of visual pollution in the classroom. Like for instance, here we have a neurodivergent class where autistic learners are. And then we have neurotypical classes. Then neurotypical classes generally require print content. And then we spoke of visual pollution in the neurodivergent class. Does that mean in our own neurotypical classes we're taking up or
That was
print is still acceptable in our neurotypical classes?
You are going to have multi-modes of teaching, remember? You are going to have multi-grades of teaching in each classroom. Anyway, even if it's your neurotypical children, you are still going to have children who are stronger in one subject, moderate in that same subject, or very weak in that same subject. So your content of how you are going to present your work is changing for this group to this group to this group. Multi-mode teaching in one classroom. The same thing with the children who have autism. Because those children also, the same thing. Some might be very strong in mathematics, that they will astound you with what they can do. Yet some are very, very slow in the development of their mathematical concepts. They might be 10 years of age, but the one functions at 3, where the other one is maybe in 15 already. So they are also very diverse in that one group as well. So you still will have to go into your multi-modes of teaching anyway in one class.
And then the last question is a child, neurotypical or neurodivergent, who is egocentric. It's my teacher, my thing.
Yes.
Yes, everything is about that child.
Yes.
And then we are in a setup where there are other children, like I've said it with teacher Premier. There's one specific child who wants to sit on the lap all the time and doesn't give other children the chance to bond with the teacher because this child feels is very egocentric. It's my teacher, her hair is mine, everything about her is, and like how do you manage that child without creating a meltdown?
We are going to teach them by using the social story. Okay, a social story is a very innocent form of teaching and remodeling behavior. It is in the effect of, but it's written in the first person for the child. So if it could use Tanto again. I love my teacher. My teacher must only be my teacher, not the other children's teacher. If I sit on my teacher's lap, my teacher cannot pay attention to the other children and the other children get upset. If I try my best to sit next to teacher and give someone else a chance, the teacher will be happy and the other children will be happy. I will try my best to remember to give other children an opportunity, but you're going to use simplistic language for that child. So we write them a very simple, sensitive, first person story. And we're going to read them that story over and over and over and over again. Again, with the repetition of language, repetition is very good for them. Until they are confident with that subject. But we first of all not going to address it in front of all the children. We're going to find 5 minutes that we can sit in a corner with them, separated from the others, to start reading them this. Because some of them become very sensitive about things like that, they can lash out. So we're going to be privately tutoring them with their own personal story. But we're using social stories for that. It's very sensitive, it's very low-key, but specific targeting one thing. Does it make sense? If you don't know about writing social stories, I can help you. Okay. But we don't say, I will not sit on teacher's lap, because we also want to give them the opportunity to fail, but fail forward. Give them the opportunity to try again. So we will say, I will try my best. And then it gives them the opportunity, if I didn't do it today, then I can try it tomorrow. Okay? Yes?
You said never kiss them, but what if they come to you all the time, like, I'm going to sit down, because a teacher for them, by himself, I'm not doing anything, I just go sit down and
Does it make you feel uncomfortable?
Excuse me?
Does it make you feel uncomfortable?
No, it's...
Have you discussed it with your parents?
He's very lovely.
He's lovely.
He does it to me. He comes and he hugs you and he wants to touch your face and kiss you. And he's very, very lovable.
I would go with that.
Smiling.
I would go with that, but discuss it with the parent and get their permission. Because you don't want children being physical with you and the parent has an issue with it. Okay, so first of all, tell the parent, look, this is what's happening. I don't have an issue with it, do you? And then you go with it. You can phase it out as quick as possible, because that little one is 4 now, turning 4 now. You don't want that activity for an 18-year-old boy. So you want to sensitively phase it out as well.
The moment you say to him, they can be playing, you can be just playing, doing anything, and then you'll just maybe say, pack up the toys, and you'll just maybe, you'll do something, you'll put something in his mouth, and you'll say, no, don't do that. You'll just non-stop crying.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what we use. This is a 3-minute timer, okay? 3 minutes, and then we're going home. Pack up your toys. When the sand is finished, your toys must be gone. And this is a visual timer. Okay, so this makes time visible. So you can say to him, in 3 minutes, we are going to go home. Can you pack up your toys, please? Then they have a referencing point to do as well. This is a fantastic tool. You can buy them this big or this tiny. It can look like an animal as long as it doesn't distract the child, which is this is one color. And you can get them in 30 seconds, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You can buy these timers in different colors. But give them visual time to work with. That'll help. Any child with a executive functioning problem that don't know what time means, this thing is fantastic. Just use this. You'll see results. Okay, any other questions? My phone number?
Yes.
072. I bought mine from a company called Autism Resources in Cape Town, but they sell online as well. And they were cheap. They were expensive. 678
6, 7,
24
24,
52.
52.
I'm 2821. And if you have any questions or you want me for anything, please send me a WhatsApp message. I don't like green dots on my WhatsApp. So I go and check them all and I answer people back. Okay, I'm not a blue tick person.